Hello people and welcome to this loser bracket semi-finals match for StarLadder LAN Finals Season 6. The teams are live from Kiev and we are gonna watch iCCup and Quantic Gaming, seeing who is gonna be going home today. iCCup yesterday losing 2-0 versus Virtus.pro, Quantic losing 2-0 versus Alliance. It's kind of sad for both teams to not have won a single match yet in this series, in this competition, or at least in the LAN Finals. We're going to see if they can make that change today. Of course, we have got a two-man coverage team here to provide you with all the help that you need to know everything that's going on in the game. There is a person that you won't hear, but you'll see exactly what he does inside the game. It is, of course, K-poptosis, our statsman. And as a co-caster, I have with me today Basskip. Basskip, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey Sheever, it's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, definitely looking forward to watching iCCup and Quantic face off. Should hopefully be a good one. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm hoping that at least both teams can get a win out, because I just heard myself say it. You don't want to go to StarLadder LAN Finals and not having won a single match.
Yeah, you don't want to go home empty-handed. That's for sure. I mean, it's a good experience all the same, but definitely wanting to hopefully get at least the one game. So I guess again that's why I said hopefully no 2-0 in this game. Yeah. So everybody goes home with at least one game under their belt. But iCCup, wow, we had a really fast draft to start things off.
Yes.
Quantic Gaming going to snag the CK Wisp, and iCCup, I don't know if I really love the Train Protector as the first pick again after the recent changes. I mean, we were talking about this on the analyst panel just before this game, but I'm unconvinced, honestly.
Yeah, we saw iCCup running this lineup up against Virtus.pro last Saturday, I believe, and they won, so it can work. But that was indeed without the Treant nerf, and now with the nerf, it is not as strong anymore. And is it strong enough to be up against that CK-IO combination? I mean, that's still a very strong, potent combination, and I'm not sure if they should have given that away purely to get a Treant and a Weaver in return. They ended up banning out the OD and the Darkseer, with the Nature's Prophet and the Batrider getting out of there as well, and that's quite surprising considering, as already said also in the pre-show, that Batrider, you can give it away to Quantic because Silent is not that super strong Batrider player that you should fear, at least not from what we saw yesterday.
I mean, even a Batrider, yeah, I mean, even a Batrider at his worst is still a very effective hero, and that kind of shows because we see him picked or banned in pretty much every single game. I mean, it's even a less than even an average Batrider player, let's say, you still have all of that potency from a Blink class. I mean, some people are not so effective in the jungle, some people don't play it so well off lane, but in terms of just the power level of the hero, it's honestly pretty high. So I'm not too surprised to see the ban here.
Yeah, it is a logical ban. Well, I don't know. I just, leaving the IO and the CK in, it's going to be so tough for iCCup to deal with this. Of course, What we saw yesterday from Quantic was that they picked up a lineup that in the end was way too greedy because they wanted to cater a bit to Black and giving him his anti-mage while there already was a carry and stuff. So it's kind of curious to see what Quantic is going to do next, like if they're going to be running that CK-IO in the mid lane and leave Black solo farming something bottom, put something else in the jungle and have another solo suicide lane as well. That could be a potential for them. And in that case, Silence can play the Chaos Knight, and it could either work out brilliant or it could work out too greedy, but still IO TK is going to be tough. How is iCCup going to deal with these two? Because you need to shut down that IO on time. Maybe run an aggressive tri lane, perhaps.
I mean, if you run the aggressive tri lane, then what do you do with the Train Protector? I feel like that's kind of the problem. We'll see. Weaver might still be able to cope, fairly well with the situation on the lane. If he gets chain stunned, then he's going to die. But if he's got living armor, maybe he survives and he's able to, run away, regen up. He will be able to ping the Chaos Knight at least a little bit of damage here and there. So should maybe slow down his farm and force at least the attention of the secondary support to be on him at all times. But wow, okay, I see. Yeah, they're gonna, and this is a big deal, and this is a big thing about the new draft format, which is you get this. So iCCup, for example, they just got a ban, and then they get to pick. So Quantic Gaming don't get to to do anything in that series. You know, because it's on the dire side, it stays on the dire side, and this is the kind of thing that you can do. You can, you know, ban a co-op, pick up a puck. You can ban a puck, pick up a co-op. You can, you know, ban the obvious counter, and then take the hero for yourself. So iCCup, they ban Rubik, they're going to take Enigma here. And yeah, looking forward to seeing it played.
Me too, and Enigma, they have actually 100% win rate with that, only over 2 games, granted. But I'm hoping that they can put it to use here as well. I have to say though, the puck is not an easy hero to be up against for the Enigma purely because of the silence. The same thing goes for the massive amount of disables that Quantic has in general so far already. Dragonite will be picked up by iCCup, will probably be Dragonite up against a puck. Dragonite can survive, he can't really win the lane though, and it's gonna be giving Quantic quite a form of momentum on that puck. If he gets ahead, he will be able to buy more time to have the carry, which I still think is gonna be there, buy more time for him to get big. Because is this puck actually going to be on the mid lane, or are we gonna see CKIO and puck on the off lane? CKIO mid. Keeper of Light gets picked up by Quantic though. If it's played by Goblak, Goblak has a 100% win rate for that. Who knows? Yeah, overall, by the way, Gyrocopter, Rubik, Queen of Pain, and Broodmother getting banned out.
Yeah, so everybody's kind of playing the averages right now, I guess, right? Picking up their highest win rate heroes. And that does show that, you know, when you're extremely comfortable with the hero, you tend to just play well, and you do end up getting the you know, racking up the high numbers. So I mean, iCCup, Enigma's not a common pick by any stretch of the imagination at the moment. You know, how prevalent BKB piercing abilities have become, and sort of Rubik's rise to fame is that that secondary support sort of hand in hand with the Shadow Demon have really sort of left Enigma in a little bit of a weird place. But I mean, he's got pretty good push. iCCup, the only thing I worry about for them is that they don't really have all that much ganking, and that compared to Quantic's lineup could end up being a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, and normally when you run the IOCK, or your opponent team does rather, you want to have a bit of a 5-man lineup, and even though of course with the Enigma they got that, the Weaver and the Dragonite will need a lot more time to start 5-manning when IO and Chaos Knight are ready. So I'm kind of curious to see what iCCup is going to pick up. We see that Quantic bans out the Lich, so of course Enigma is already going to deny some creeps at the start of the game. They don't want it to be more by having the Lich there as well. We have the Lone Druid getting banned out by iCCup. They are probably then expecting Puck mid, CK, IO, Keeper of Light, and a safe lane, tri lane, and then still an off lane needed or something like that. So the Lone Druid doesn't make it through. But yeah, I kind of think, like, even though that black hole has a lot of team fight potential, is it enough to start 5-manning when the IO and CK are that big of a threat on the map?
I don't feel like they need to, but they don't need to start 5-manning necessarily. I mean, they've got reasonable response heroes, as it were. You know, if they see the relocate gank moving in, you know, they've got heroes that with just a TP in might be able to put an end to it. But the one thing I worry about for iCCup right now is just who deals damage. If Resolution has a bad time at all, you know, the Dragonite is really their primary damage dealer. We'll see where the Weaver ends up, but I worry a little bit about that, especially with Treant Protector just bringing absolutely nothing in terms of damage. I mean, Overgrowth does nada, and the damage on Leech Seed is kind of insignificant.
I agree. It's going to be tricky. And Jackal, we know that he can be a very dangerous Weaver, but he needs time. And that might not be something that they have, especially not since Quantic picked up a Bounty Hunter at the end of the last pick. So you can have yourself that, you know, Bounty Hunter go scout out people in the jungle, and if he finds someone, there's going to be a relocate from the IO and the CK as well, so more ganking potential. And on top of that, track gold, so all the kills that Quantic gets mean even more to Quantic. iCCup, they picked up a Windrunner. That's just a damage control hero in this case, I feel like. Shackle, Power Shot, stop people from pushing in, stop people from attacking your carries, but it is, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. It's going to be a tough one for iCCup. They have to play it perfectly. They have to not get caught out.
Mag is going to have a really tough time on this bottom lane. I mean, CK Wisp have definitely enough lockdown to be able to keep the Windrunner in place through the duration of her win run, and you end up in this sort of weird chicken situation where you're running at the Windrunner and she doesn't want to use the win run because she would prefer to use it, you know, after the first Reality Rift is used, but most of the time it doesn't end up working out. So I'm hoping Mag is just going to play it super safe, because if he goes too aggressive, then what could end up happening is, Coddle could just get an early point in Mana Leak, and then she's absolutely doomed. Like, a Mana Leak thrown on top of the Winner, if the CK and the Wisp are in the right position, should just outright be a kill.
Yeah, and they
there,
so want to
shouldn't
get the
really
first
be any way
blood.
for her to escape.
Even with the haste rune up on Mag, they're gonna try for it. Look at the aggression already. Black also coming up. iCCup first Mag realized that, but yeah, like you said, he is just not gonna have a fun time. And we see Silent, he just wants to get himself that tether. And let's just go over who is playing what, because it will be Silent playing his one of his signature heroes. Wait a second, Mag gonna get stunned. 1 second, is it gonna be enough? Tether stun is gonna be there as well. And the Illuminate to clean it out. Goblak gets the first blood, and that is already indeed a very dangerous start. So yeah, Goblak on his Keeper of the Light, 100% win rate for him on that hero since 6.78p. We've got Silent on his Wisp, who is it's one of his signature heroes for sure.
It is, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
even though he's not, he is a carry official role for Quantic. If they pick up the Wisp, it is Silent that plays it. We have got Black playing the CK in this lane, so he is of course the stand-in, and he will be playing that Chaos Knight on the offlane. We're gonna have fucking Matt playing the Bounty Hunter. Should be doable, should be okay for him as well. He got pulled a couple of tangos and a salve by Goblak, so managed to get himself a Poor Man Shield, able to stay alive, able to harass maybe a little bit as well. And in the mid lane, it is Funzy, of course. He is playing the puck on this mid lane, and yeah, I mean, he's just gonna be doing really, really well. He got pulled regen as well, by the way. He managed to pick himself up a null talisman.
Yeah, starts off with the null, so I mean, we can already see that the living armor is starting to move around the map, so the iCCup here is already kind of feeling a little bit pressured. Should I run over who's playing what on iCCup?
What? Yes.
Yes, okay. So on iCCup, we're going to have Mag playing the offlane winner. Heading towards mid, we've got Resolution on the Dragon Knight. Up in the jungle, we've got Always Wanna Fly playing the Enigma. Supporting, we've got We Just Zik on the Treant Protector, and that is going to leave Jackal to play the Weaver heading up towards top lane.
Yeah, and a pretty high win rate with the two of them. We have seen the combination of the Weaver and the Treant Protector a lot more often lately, purely because, like, normally you don't pick up you didn't pick up the Weaver that often because he was so squishy early on and easily countered in the lane. But if you have an Enigma a Treant Protector there, one living armor, and you'll be able to have your Weaver just farm up a little bit, as we see that fucking Matt is just making We Just Zig's life miserable, but he's not gonna stack anymore then. I'm just gonna be
this is the one big downside about having the jungle Enigma, is that, I mean, you don't have that presence in the top lane, really, and I mean, there's a lot of farm that Funny can just grab here, because you can see that the Treant Protector he's dragged in two different directions. Part of him wants to pull because he really wants the levels to rank up the living armor, because it's extremely important right now. The other side says, well, I kind of want to harass the Bounty Hunter so he doesn't get a fast 6, because we're already going to be dealing with a really fast 6 on the CK Wisp. So right now he's going to opt to pull. I think he has to, just because of the living armor nerf, but again, that does make a lot of space for the Bounty Hunter to do what he wants.
Yeah, and get experience, and the faster he gets level 6, the faster there will be track kills available. And then it will depend on how fast that IO is going to get levels. He is still level 2. He is trying to stack a bit on the camp here. We know that IOs can farm fairly fast in the jungle with help of the spirits and such. I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to be planning on doing that here, as he is just stacking even more, even though this stack kind of failed. Was it Goblak that actually blocked that? Nah.
I don't think so. It's just a really difficult camp to pull. The spawn box is a long way out, so, and that's really the only direction that you can pull it, sort of in the longest direction of the spawn box. So yeah, it gets a bit tough. The really nice thing about the Wisp, and I think there's some people who might not know this, but the spirit duration is actually a little bit longer than the cooldown. So if you still have spirits up and you have the cooldown available, then you can resummon your next set of spirits to detonate the spirit explosion. So what you'll see Wisp players doing to jungle, they'll set up the spirits, they'll get the damage, and then instantly summon the next set to be able to just get the burst and burst down the camp. And the same thing should really happen whenever they're looking. It's sort of a telltale sign that a relocate gank is about to happen. A specific sequence of timing for putting up the spirits, then using the tether, and then going, because you want to be able to get 2 tethers and 2 sets of spirits for every single gank. And that's kind of what makes the Wisp such an effective ganker.
Yeah, as we have got a bit of a battle for the runes. In the end, I think Wisp actually denied it on the bottom lane. Nobody really got it. So fucking mad, annoying. Always want to fly a little bit, taking his islands, but yeah, people ran for the rune, but ended up not getting it. Resolution, by the way, he's doing quite okay in this middle lane, I have to say. He is 17-3 in terms of last hits. Funzy sitting on 19-6. And I mean, there's only a 2 last hit difference, 3 right now, but it's really low, or at least a lot lower than I thought it would be. The difference that is.
Yeah, Resolution's doing really well on mid. Looks like Mag is really backed off in the bottom lane, so the majority of the living armor spam has been able to go to the Dragon Knight, and that means that he can just sit up in the lane and pick up farm.
Yeah, we've got a rotation from fucking Mad, who has scouted out always or Sir Resolution. Not sure if he can do something though. I mean, living armor and that bottle is definitely there to help him heal back up. So yeah, we see Mag rotating back. He's gonna rotate back to always wanna fly, trying to steal some of his camps or some of his creeps or eidolons. He can't really be sitting on his lane anymore all too much. There was a sentry placed, so that's why he's roaming around so much.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still leveling reasonably, and slowing down the Enigma is definitely not a bad thing at all. So, and yeah, iCCup, I think the problem, again, I talked about damage maybe being an issue, and the one thing that they do have to be able to...
First blood. Second blood, rather, because...
Second blood.
Mag was
Same hero.
First blood, yes. Same thing happened, kinda, they dived past the tower for that Illuminate to help out again, and the Tether Reality Drift. You know how it went, like, it's a CK Wisp, you know, everybody's seen that combination probably quite a lot. And yeah, Black, very high success right here with the Chaos Knight. He doesn't play it that often, but when he plays it, 80% win rate, pretty decent.
Yeah, for sure. And Mag is really having a tough time. I mean, yeah, he hasn't died that many times. He's been doing this little ancient farming thing, getting some stacks, you know, just plinking away at the smaller creeps, but he's not going to be a big force in this game for a very long time.
Yeah, and of course he is the one that's basically compared, you can compare him to fucking Mad's Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter sitting at level 4, 17 last hits for him, some of them of course Eidolons, but Windrunner level 3 has got no gold whatsoever, and oh wait a second, fucking Mad might actually go down. The sentry ward gets placed as well, right under the tower. Is it gonna be enough? The Shikushi is there, he can't find him though! He can't find fucking Mad, and fucking Mad is alive indeed. Jackal running back, wasting a sentry ward, and he almost had that too. If he was walking the right way, that level 4 Shikushi would have killed off the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, and Bounty actually got a bottle delivered in sort of the middle of that, so he got one sip off before he went invis, and that kind of helped him be a little bit more comfortable with the situation. And yeah, he did almost go down there. I mean, Jackal loses a little bit of gold dropping down that sentry, but he forces the Bounty Hunter back to base. That's just more space for him, and again, Bounty slowed down a little bit as far as getting to level 6 is concerned. And one thing that I want to point out is that having the Bounty Hunter is actually really nice with the sort of the new CK Wisp. Wisp got the vision removed from his spirits. You only get vision when they detonate now on a target, so that way of setting up the reality rifts back was kind of reduced. I always want to fly. Wow, he's just charging in mid.
He had a smoke on which didn't get reviewed until he actually was on the lane. But everybody's so far back, and he just, I don't know, he just went in thinking, you know what, here I am. He also, like, the way that Enigma walks kind of enhances that vision of him just, you know, charging.
He's kind of imposing.
Yeah,
exactly. He's got his arms sort of out in front of him.
Yeah.
And he's ready for the embrace of death. Exactly. But I mean, I like the movement from Always Wanna Fly, because I feel like people are way too hesitant with their first black hole. Like, oh, nah. Never mind. Mad's fine on top. Jackal going through the same kind of move twice, but yeah, no more anti-invis, so it looks like he's going to be fine. But the one thing I did like the movement from Enigma. It's going to slow him down a little bit because it didn't succeed, but if you just get level 6 and you go and solo black hole someone, that should be a guaranteed kill. And this, you know, you're never really going to be saving that for the next big team fight, honestly. So I like what he was going for there. Unfortunately, it just doesn't quite connect.
Yeah, we're gonna see the levels going the way of Quantic quite heavily, actually. Of course, there's still an Enigma in the jungle for iCCup, so that kind of helps make up for it a little bit. But the supports of iCCup are starting to get behind real fast. As Always Wanna Fly tries to get more aggression here, and actually takes the last hit of the tower away from Jackal. Tracks for everybody here as well. But yeah, there's a level 4 Windrunner. I know she's not a support, but she's the lowest level on the map right now, level 5 Train Protector, while Quantic has got their supports and their off lanes at level 5 and 6, with level 6 almost up on Io. I say almost, needs actually half a level until he has that. And when this IO is level 6, the CK already is off level that he can be that annoying hero that will relocate on the map. He is level 8, so he is just fine with that. And it is going to be really tough for iCCup to deal with that. As we have got a Dream Coil actually up on Resolution. A lot of trouble for him. Living Armor is going to be there. Is it going to be enough though? A level 5 Treant. Living Armor already done, but apparently it was enough to stop Quantic from going in. Level 3 Living Armor. Almost to those 7 charges.
Yeah, and I really like the decision making there from Resolution. He got hit by the coil and is like, I'm gonna keep on walking. Like there's no way that I am both waiting out some of the duration of this and then getting stunned by trying to dodge something. So he just kept on charging, took a little bit of extra damage in the stun, but he was fine to escape. And a little bit of TP support was threatened, I think. So yeah, good coordination there from iCCup. The one unfortunate thing right now is that they're getting tracked up, and that relocate is ready. So this could just be pickoffs wherever.
Yeah, the CK and the Wisp are looking for a target already. They're gonna run into the mid lane, just, not caring about any wards that they are gonna encounter. Resolution is the target. Reality Rift, is it gonna be in range? The vision is there. There it is. Where's the sun? Resolution turns on the Dragon from the black hole. Might keep him safe for a little while longer. He is back in action, and he has killed off fucking Mad Black, trying to run himself away as the rest of Quantic tries to help escape with him. Fonzie might still end up going down, orbs himself away. Dragon Tail up on Black, trouble for him. He could get relocated though, and they are gonna be out of there for sure. Back into safety. iCCup, brilliant reply. They might have lost their Windrunner, just still there, but it could have ended a lot worse if Resolution actually died. But he lives, he is able to help pick up a kill as well, and everybody of Quantic comes back as they know that the relocate wouldn't be safe to wait out. Oh, Jackal, what are you doing there, buddy?
Black Hole is on cooldown now, so that was like the one thing that they had to stop what Mao's are doing, and now Black Hole is on cooldown forever. So, Quantic are just going to be like, "Yep, we're going to just get your tower. You don't have Black Hole to defend," and that is the big problem of relying on team fights to keep you in the game, because Quantic they're not really cooldown dependent by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe the relocate, but even then it's only a minute and a half. And it gets much lower as and they're just going to be non-stop ganking while that black hole is down. And iCCup kind of need to just give away maybe 1 or 2 towers here.
Yeah, they already of course gave out the mid tower. Towers are actually, even right now we saw in the early stages that the tier 1 top was taken down on the side of Quantic. But yeah, they can't really trade fights for towers, or at least they have to give up towers. If they don't have a black hole, they can't defend. It's just that simple. They do almost have a mechanism that might help them, just 20 gold for the Enigma, and he has that. And they're actually gonna try to fight without a black hole right now. They're finding Io first. Jackal gets himself tethered up though, gets himself a tether stun right there. We still have Black hanging around here, not feeling the pain just yet, not feeling the pressure. Funzy with the haste rune and a blink dagger comes in as well, has got that dream coil ready. This could be disastrous for iCCup if they get caught out of position.
I don't know what iCCup are doing on bottom lane. They're 5-manning right now, and it's so strange because they still need levels on all the heroes. Again, they have this damage problem with Dragon Knight. I mean, if he was just sitting mid, he could be pressuring the tower. There's some Eidolons there, doing that job right now. But they brought 5 heroes in. It doesn't do anything.
And Dream Coil up, Resolution. They want to try and take him down again. There's a 2-second stun. Is it going to be enough? Is the question. I might doubt that. He's trying to run in. Comes this team. Overgrowth is going to be there, helping out. Make sure the Resolution is out safe. The rest is going to try to go for Funzy. Funzy is going to go down. Nice pickup by Max. Power shot. Resolution gets mech'd up. Going to be going back into the fight, but gets a 3-second stun and will not be able to help with the chase that iCCup is doing. Fucking mad. Taking quite a bit of damage out of Shikushi. Might be, oh my god, he dodged it. He dodged it. That's going to be 1 bounty hunter staying alive if the neutrals don't kill him, which they don't, luckily for him. But Funzy goes down as well as the Keeper of the Light, and iCCup once again successfully reflecting one of the relocate ganks coming out from Quantic.
That was a kind of a strange relocate from Quantic. I guess they thought that they could burst the Dragon Knight down, but he's got so much armor, and then he had the immediate living armor as well, so that was just tough. And they saw a bunch of heroes on bottom lane just just a few seconds ago. They knew that iCCup were pretty much all there, and they relocated. I think almost too close. iCCup just made a beeline for the fight, and Resolution lives through. And the early mech pickup on Always Wanna Fly really doing a lot in that fight. So yeah, iCCup, the 5-man seems to be working out at least for now. But again, I worry a little bit about their late game prospects. So hopefully Jackal and Resolution will be able to back off and just grab themselves a couple of items.
Yeah, we've got a mechanism now up also for Quantic, so that will help a lot with that as well. As we have a gem picked up by Almost Wanna Fly, very early gem. Normally it's around 20 minutes that you see people pick it up, but no, they want to just really make sure that the bounty hunter can't do anything. And to be fair, he's gotten away on very low HP a couple of times already. And that's indeed a very fast armlet coming off from Chaos Knight. He does indeed have... Oh, they're gonna relocate. There they go. They're gonna go for Almost Wanna Fly. That's gonna be... Oh, he doesn't have the gem yet, but he will die. Track kill going the way of Quantic. I was gonna say, if that's a gem kill, that would have been massive. They find Weejazik as well, though. Why is he still here? Resolution comes in as well. It is gonna be the relocate that comes back, that gets everybody back. Keeper of the Light tried to recall the Bounty Hunter, but Bounty Hunter couldn't get away. A Resolution gets himself a kill. It's very nice. I mean, they get a kill for a kill. Track kill versus a non-track kill. Of course, you can't really expect to trade evenly when there's a Bounty Hunter on your enemy team. But it's more than I think they should have got if well, Quantic would have maybe played a bit more careful.
Yeah, and that could have gone even worse. Enigma actually had Black Hole up there, so if he'd realized that the CK Wisp were actually relocating literally on top of him, he could have just Black Holed the Bounty Hunter. They would have arrived in the Black Hole, and as we saw, the iCCup team, they weren't too far away. They were sort of ready for that pickoff, so expecting it a little bit. And yeah, no, that could have gone 3-0, I think.
Yeah.
If Fly had realized where exactly that relocate was coming in, but it's difficult to tell from the minimap position, and that's really the only indicator that you get.
Yeah, in the meantime, Quantic is once again on the bottom lane, was trying to push a little bit. They're starting to lose some of their map control. They don't have any observer wards on the map, and their ganks haven't been all that successful. I mean, they just got a kill, and of course they get track kills, which is great. But I think they are losing way more than they want to. I mean, the kill score is 4-4. Yes, you're not trade even with the Bounty Hunter, but it's still gonna be something that you do not want to give away right now, because if that Dragon Knight, as well as the Weaver, get up to speed, get very farmed, get very tanky, and doing a lot of damage. Wait a second, Fonzie finds Jackal. Nah, it's gonna be fine. Backs off. But yeah, if iCCup can get their stuff together, Quantic is gonna have a very tough time trying to find kills.
Black, do you really want that creep that much?
Yeah.
No, just leave the creep! Thank God. I was like, is he gonna give his life away for that centaur? Please don't. And yeah, in the end, it looks like Silent convinces him, like, buddy, we gotta run right now.
Yeah. Good choice indeed.
Yeah.
And in the end, Mag gets his creep. I have to say, Mag, I mean, he was the one that had the toughest lane, right, on the bottom lane. He has been the target of 3 out of the 4 kills of Quantic. Which is actually, like, that makes the 4 versus 4 trade a little bit go in the way of iCCup, because Mag dying is a little less important than, for example, having Bounty Hunter die, or having Puck die as well there, of course, for Quantic. But he has been able to pick up a little bit. We've seen him have some nice power shots there. He is level 7, and even though that's still the lowest on the map, it feels like he is no longer that one that is always going to be the one to die in a fight. If that made sense. Yeah,
he's no longer such a liability in the
Yes.
fight. Like, he can actually participate and he can actually get things done. And a mech and Living Armor will both, keep him up. And that's the big problem for Quantic. They're kind of a lineup where they need to focus one hero down right at the start and then use that as their advantage in the team fight. And if they're denied from doing that because of the mech, because of the Living Armor, then there's a chance that iCCup get that hero to safety. And then, Quantic have used all of their cooldowns and they haven't taken somebody out of the fight, and that's really what they need. So they have to be really careful about, if they can, making sure they know who the Living Armor is on, and if they see that come up, then maybe just shift focus immediately and try and burst down, one of the other squishies, because they can't afford to waste everything that they have on Living Armor and then, the mech heal.
Yeah, very true. We have got ourselves a pause. It is 18 minutes into the game. Haven't really checked the gold graph just yet, but there's no real reason to, because we feel it's even. The gold graph looks as if it's even as well, and I mean, both sides have been ahead by 1k gold before, but really that's all there was to it. There's really not that much. Experience graph, same story. A little bit more in favor of Quantic, because they were normally the ones to initiate, normally the ones to get the kills in the end, and they are slightly ahead in terms of experience. But I mean, 500 experience is it's not as much. And we have a goal again. I think both teams normally around this time, like especially the games that we saw yesterday, we think, okay, you know what, this game is going really the favor of X team. It's not the case. It is definitely not the case. I think both teams are heavily in this. Godblack got caught out. Dragon Tail was there. Is it going to be enough damage? Power Shot will help out, and a Breath of Fire will be there to get the kill. They get a tower. They get a Keeper of the Light, and Keeper of the Light was the only one that was hanging around there for Quantic, trying to, of course, stop the push from coming, but he was just a bit out of position there.
Radiant's middle tower is under
And iCCup are making some beautiful warding decisions right now. Not only, I mean, and factoring into that is the early gem pickup. So, you know, normally Quantic, they would be relying on getting some aggressive wards going for themselves, you know, looking for those pickups constantly. But with the early gem, it's actually iCCup with the majority of the map vision right now, and they feel like they have the better 5-man at the moment. I feel like they pretty much do. So, you know, they ward up, they head into the Roshan pit. I mean, even if Quantic know that it's happening, there's not a whole lot that they can do to stop it if they're feeling weaker in the 5v5.
They're gonna try though, but Weaver already has the Aegis, and Quantic, they have to back off. I love the ward placement from iCCup. We saw that the tree was actually already, like, I was thinking, like, why is he moving all the way to where he placed that one ward? But that's, of course, I mean, they were planning on doing Roshan, and they wanted to absolutely know for sure that Quantic didn't come to kill them off right there. And I mean, successfully so. They took a Roshan. Quantic not able to do anything again. Ooh, relocate. They go up on Mac again. The wind run was already there though, and he tries to dodge it successfully. So indeed, in comes the tree. Not really needed anymore. That's a relocate wasted for Quantic, unless it can still make something happen, but I doubt that's going to be the case. They can at least try to push the tower, apparently. Fortification is still there if really need be. And iCCup, of course, they have got that tree, so they at least don't want to be having the tower to go down, just to make sure that they can heal it up again after everybody is gone again. And that's actually what's starting to happen already, but they have to not let it drop too far, though. And that might have been the case right now.
Yeah, we'll see if they can muscle it down again. iCCup, they're holding on to the Aegis right now. They've got Black Hole, they've got a BKB up on Resolution. So things are starting to look pretty good. I mean, Resolution's still going to need damage items, still going to need level 16, but they're on track, and iCCup are actually setting the pace right now, which is really good for them.
Yeah, and they're going to try to defend this tier 1 tower bottom. They TP everybody in apart from Jackal so far. And maybe Jackal is going to be here as well. Living Armor is going to be there. Resolution, as you said, has got his BKB. He pops his Dragon Form, looking for a target. Gets Black. Shackle is going to be actually overlapping a bit with that, a bit awkward. But that's still going to be quite a bit of damage going the way of Black. Dream Coil though, up on 3. In comes Jackal as well, gets tracked up the moment he appears. And Quantic, they don't get any kill. A bit of a weird Shackle stacking with the Dragon Tail there from iCCup. But they continue on though. Oh, in comes Quantic from the side. They have smoked up. They look for the targets. They're going to come in from behind. Always want to fly. Be safe. Blink in silent. Funzy comes in first. Overgrowth is still going to be there, though. And it's going to be silent. Getting picked up. Black, he knows he needs to go for always want to fly. He gets it as well. 1 for 1 so far. Black gets shackled, though, and gets picked off. Or Armlet toggles himself into safety. Never mind that. Goblack going to be the next target. Tries to get the Courier as it's just hanging around there. He knows he will die, but Courier is not going to die with him this time. And TP out from the Bounty Hunter. Funzy was already home safe or back safe. I like it from Quantic that they really wanted to take that Always Want to Fly, but they gave up 3 heroes to kill off that one Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd still had the Dream Coil up, then that fight goes a little bit differently. I like the tactics, yeah, and really nicely played by We Just Zik. You know, fantastic overgrowth. He got the Enigma back to safety, and again, that's what I talked about just before. Quantic are focusing on a single target. If they don't bring that target down, then they've used a bunch of cooldowns, and iCCup then have a chance to react. So, you know, overall, reasonable team fight. I feel like maybe if Quantic had that coil, then things go a little bit differently. They get that initial pickoff just from a little bit of extra damage and Enigma not being able to run away. But yeah, iCCup, they get a big punish. They've still got the Aegis. That should be probably 1 more tower for them once they've got their cooldowns back up. And yeah, overall looking pretty good. They're doing a great job of restricting the space that the CK Wisp lineup has.
Yeah, and I mean, you said like maybe if they had the coil, they would have been able to do something. Funzy, of course, threw out a very early coil, and it didn't really do that much in the end. Do you think it slowed them down enough to let Quantic escape? But I actually think that it didn't. That wouldn't have made a difference.
I feel like maybe it would have been necessary had the shackle shot been slightly better timed, but I feel like Mag was sort of basing his timing off a level 1 Dragon Tail, and he's actually got, well, it's actually only got another half a second on top, but yeah, I don't know if the coil necessarily saved anybody there. I feel like the bonus move speed was enough, and iCCup kind of underestimated how tanky Black is with, with Strength Treads and Ogre Club and everything that he's got going on.
Yeah, and Black back on the bottom lane. The tower, though, is almost back to full HP. Hello, Treant Protector. I mean, that's just annoying to deal with. But then again, Quantic are the Treant Protector players, so they know exactly what they can expect from that hero, and we'll be expecting it. So that's gonna be that. Black still farming towards his BKB, almost has it ready though. He has already got his Ogre Club, Mint Through Hammer, and Recipe on the way. Jackal has been farming here on the top lane. We already saw his Lincoln Sphere. I'm hoping Desolator next. And it looks like, I mean, he already has a Mint Through Hammer. It could be like, is he gonna be getting a BKB? Because there is so much disable coming off from Quantic.
I feel like there's no reason to get a BKB. If you get a BKB, you're almost doing a disservice to your Dragon Knight and to your Enigma. Yeah. Because you're saying that I don't trust you guys to be at the front of the fight, and I don't trust you to land a 3-man black hole. So I feel like we just need to be evasive. It needs to be around the edges. Leave the Dragon Knight to receive the brunt of the focus fire in the team fights, and rely on the fact that he should be able to just duck and weave and do what he needs to do.
And he just picked up a free tier 2, by the way. Everybody of Quantic was trying to gank on the bottom lane, but iCCup, who was sitting around on the bottom lane, was actually just TPing himself out. Oh, wait a second. Jackal finds himself the Bounty Hunter. Actually runs away from him in the end. Takes a bit of harassment from the Janata, but yeah, he has got the Gem of True Sight, so I think there might have been a chance for him, but not so close to the tier 3 tower. Too many TPs able to come in, including the one that has, of course, the relocate from Silent with it.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a relocate in a super long time. iCCup they sort of just paired off, and nobody is ever by themselves. And if they're ever moving between pairs, they're kind of loaded up with living armor and just they're making sure that they're not tracked up. So Quantic just have no idea where iCCup heroes are at all. And the Treant Protector, I mean, I didn't necessarily think about this against the CK Wisp, but just by virtue of keeping up those, keeping the towers alive, he's making the space that iCCup have to move around in, that much greater. It's much more difficult for Quantic to say, okay, the enemy team has 5 heroes. They have to be somewhere on the map. Like, fundamentally, they have to be somewhere. But there's too much there's too much space for them to know exactly where. So that's kind of tough for that CK Wisp lineup. They need to know where their targets are to be able to bring them down. And another big problem is that, fucking Mad just can't feel safe to go and try and get some tracks or scout around too much, because if he doesn't see the Weaver, then he doesn't know where the gem is, and then he might just end up dying for free, and that's exactly what he doesn't want to happen right now.
Yeah, oh, nice shackle coming off from Mag. They're gonna go for funds here. It's the Malefice as well as a Dragon Tail. Resolution TPing in to get this kill. We just Zik with the last hit. Brilliantly executed, and brilliant shackle from Mag. It was probably one of the longer range shackle with the creep being there, but on the other hand, Funzy, why was he so far up all by himself with no vision of enemy heroes on the map, right?
He was trying to be really cute. We saw it, a little bit earlier, where he blinked in, silenced, and then orbed his way back. Oh wow!
Oh, the TP.
Looks like it's it. Yeah, just mass TPs, but also mass cancelled once they realized the Jackal was absolutely fine. So, yeah, that was bit of. I mean, Quantic really wanted it. They've got a gem up themselves on Go Black, and if they'd been able to reclaim the enemy gem, that would have been amazing. But yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't end up working out.
Yeah, and this is going to be a tier 2 tower. Perhaps we do have the team of Quantic coming in for a little bit. Illuminate will help out there. Is it going to be enough though? Just an Illuminate as well as IO sitting around. CK is happily farming. We still have Funzy trying to make something happen. He's building towards a Hex. Fucking Mad apparently just goes back top because that's where it needs to be. Oh, they find Quantic, a Gold Black rather. Mechanism is gonna be there. It's gonna be enough. Funzy TP's in, silence up. Brilliant Dream Coil up on 4. But no follow-up whatsoever. Illuminate is gonna be a follow-up, I guess. But that's not gonna be hurting at all because it doesn't have enough range. We do have a Reality Rift incoming. If Black gets his way, doesn't get the vision though, and won't be able to get anything. Nature's guys will keep the Treant Protector safe. They know where he is. The dust gets popped. The resolution actually comes back in or gets a... Oh, turns on his BKB. Brilliant shackle from the other side of the tree line. And a black hole up on 4. Quantic. They are in deep trouble right now. That's already IO down. There goes fucking mad. We just will still end up going down as Black turned on his BKB, but it doesn't matter because he dies. Funzy out as well as Goblack, but oh my god, that shackle set up for the perfect blink black hole from Always Wanna Fly. iCCup,
Yeah,
they turn and burn.
iCCup played it perfectly. The only reason that they were retreating was to let Jackal get to the fight, and as soon as he sort of came around the corner, they immediately turned around, and that's sort of why I said, you know, Enigma's got a blink dagger here. You have to be careful in these headlong, chases, because he can just as easily blink backwards and black hole you, and you're not really thinking about your positioning when all you want to do is close the gap and get a pick off. So yeah, Quantic really getting punished for that, and they weren't even really playing an objective or anything there. They pretty much lost the tier 2. I mean, Goblack, he was a little bit too far out. He almost lost his life. You know, they were forced to use the coil just to save him. You know, Funzy had to scare everybody away. But I feel like Quantic were like, okay, we've already used one cooldown. Why not use the rest?
Dream Coil, they're gonna try to take down his Roshan, but Roshan already dead. Age is already picked up. Always Wanna Fly will still go down. Here comes Resolution with his BKB though, and IO drops. Black in a ton of trouble as is fucking mad, trying to get a pick off. At least SheeverGaming does not kill off Weejazik, and he comes back in, and it is gonna be fucking mad. That will be the third target in this fight, and it is again Quantic that has to run. Shackle is gonna latch Goblack to a tree. Bit of weird angle there, but nonetheless is gonna be there. In comes Jackal with his diffuser blade. Blinding Light will help out for a short period of time, and Goblack should still probably be going down. One more hit is gonna be enough. 4-second stun though, inside the tower range. Jackal in a lot of trouble. Is he gonna have his Aegis burned already? He's not gonna be able to time lapse, but again, the shackles. Funzy goes down together with Black Mag. He is making up for his 3 deaths.
What a shackle!
Oh my god, that's like these shackles for these fights have been on par. This could be the game.
Yeah, this is looking really bad.
I remember when I said...
He can also go buyback if he needs it.
Remember when I said that Mag was having a tough time and, you know, was trying to make it worth it? Oh, wait a second. 3-man silence. Is it going to be enough? Jackal knows he can die. He still uses the time lapse, so still has, of course, that Aegis. SheeverGaming and tracks. Resolution, BKB's TP's out. Jackal just picks himself up another IO. And, I mean, he knows he can still die and escape afterwards, so he's just going to do what he can. That's going to be the stun, dodge, no track up on there. And, I mean, fucking Mad is going to be the target here. There's still a gem up on this Jackal. I mean, he is surrounded by 3 enemy heroes. There's still going to be a track. That's going to be the Aegis gone, most likely. Living Armor keeps him up for a little while longer. But it doesn't matter. Aegis gone. He will still be able to get away though. There is actually a gem up on Funzy. They can try and take him down. The silence is going to be there. In comes Weejazik with the 4-stop overgrowth. He gives his life for Jackal, and it should be allowing him to get away. Black can't catch up with him anymore, and even the tree lives in the end. iCCup, they are playing some pretty Dota right here.
Yeah, that was really nicely coordinated. I'm surprised that they let Weejazik walk away. They're like, we really want Weaver. But yeah, Zik with some nice moves, and yeah, he does manage to walk away at the end of that fight. And I mean, Quantic, things started looking bad. You know, they're getting pushed in, and every single time the response seems to be just step on the gas, right? You know, the bottom lane things weren't going great, but they wanted to take the fight anyway. They knew that Roshan was being taken. They were like, okay, at least Black Hole is on cooldown, so let's just try and go for it anyway. One thing I want to talk about is that, I mean, fucking Mad, he's got some farm, but it's not doing that much. I mean, he's got a Vlad that's helping out the right click a little bit, but he's sort of being ignored in the fights. Like they stun lock Black to death, and he's the one who's getting the most use out of this Vlad's anyway. So I don't know. I almost feel like I would have preferred to see maybe a BKB or another damage item.
Ooh, Resolution gets a goes down actually. He's pretty tanky though. Turns on his BKB, might be able to stay alive. He's still gonna get chased by 5 heroes, and his team is around the corner. Here they come. That's gonna be a nice overgrowth. Reality Rift is still gonna be there. Dream Coil as well. Resolution still alive for now. Living Armor is gonna be there. Brilliant Shackle, Latching Black, and fucking Mad in place. It is Funzy that dies first. Mag with the kill. More tracks going off. It's not gonna be enough movement speed for Golak though to get away because he already gets picked up by Jackal. And Jackal once more, he wants to get Rax actually as a Shackle latches again. This time again on the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter dead again. And that is gonna be Rax. And that is gonna be the GG iCCup. What a play! Like, it was so even for such a long time. Look at that gold graph, and all of a sudden, they just started owning Quantic. Brilliant play from
yeah. Quantic, I feel like they just... So they realized that, okay, the ganking lineup isn't working anymore. We have to try something different. So they just tried to, you know, take the teamfights head on because they realized they were being out-farmed, and as they moved towards the late game, you know, the situation wasn't going to get any better. So I feel like the last couple of teamfights were just like, we have to try for something because if we let the game go the way that it's currently going, we lose. So, you know, maybe they just accepted that and, you know, they make one last attempt. But iCCup, you know, they had some really nice maneuvers against the CK Wisp. We saw Quantic pick them up as the first 2 picks, and it just didn't really end up paying off. It was the center of their lineup, and iCCup, you know, I criticized the 5-man a little bit towards bot, but they got the gem, they 5-manned, and the CK Wisp just looked completely helpless.
Yeah, just brilliant play. Just don't know really what to say, but we are gonna be heading ourselves to the post-game analysis, and we're gonna be jumping ourselves into the second game. So stick with us. We'll be right back with you for game number 2 and some more discussion about what just actually happened. Don't go anywhere. Welcome.